Welcome back, everybody, to another market day. I'm your designated inquirer. My name is Axel, and today is 10/15 of 2020. Now, if I have, for whatever reason, made you smile, entertained you in any way, brought to you any form of value and or insight, please do remember to like and subscribe to the videos and or comment any question or any thought and or idea about the video that you may have had. Every little bit helps. The algorithm is non-feeling. It doesn't care about anybody's emotions. All it cares about is interactions. Clicks, clicks, clicks. So anything does help. Thank you guys very much for your time and for your attention. Now, let's get down to it. First of all, we're going to jump into Bitcoin right now. That did see a jump up along with gold a little bit, but at the same time with the dollar going up. So what does that mean? Well, what it could mean is that there's probably more international strife and or problems going on in the world where both the dollar and other currencies are probably dropping in price, probably faster than what the dollar can keep up with. So gold and Bitcoin, irrespective of nationality, could be something that people are running toward along with the dollar at the same time. Given that the dollar was up at 93 today, this jump today was no small matter. We basically look at on daily here, you can take a look, see here that even though today, this is today right here, that today it went up it's not a huge percentage, but it did go up. But generally when the dollar goes up, $DXY, when the dollar sign goes up, generally that means that both Bitcoin and gold should be going down. But the fact that it is not going down, that it is in a way kind of keeping pace and running up, it does mean that there is probably more strife and more things going on in the world than what the dollar can keep up with in terms of demand for other currencies that are not probably the yuan, the euro, the British pound, etc. We do know that the British are right now going through a bit of strife themselves, with political tensions there increasing, as there may be a likelihood of a very hard Brexit taking place, as negotiations with the rest of Europe seem to be breaking down, at least as what I've last heard. Then there's also China in its tensions with the United States, that the president of China went and basically alerted their troops to be ready for war. Now, I hadn't necessarily understood why that would be the case, but reading up on it a little bit more, what I did find out is that the US may be selling weapons to Taiwan, and that the sending of direct personnel from the Trump administration, which may not have necessarily been a very high-ranking official, because sending a military official would more than likely be too obvious. The officials that have gone may have negotiated some sort of deal, and other communications might have been intercepted maybe more easily. Whatever the case is, it seems as though China does know, or at least is presuming to know, that the US is shipping weapons and or some sort of defenses to Taiwan. Now, we do know that China has been more aggressive in its prodding of the Taiwan airspace slash sea space. I don't know what you would call it necessarily, but the territory that would otherwise be known as sovereign to Taiwan. It is currently right now, I believe, under our protection through treaties and whatnot, but if there is a conflict with China, it would more than likely start there. So that could be another reason why we see both gold and Bitcoin rising at the same time as the dollar, and not necessarily an indication of a smooth relationship or a correlation as to opposite or relationship between the two, and why they've been more or less correlated together recently rather than not. So yeah, that happens to be the story with the dollar. Now, bonds, TLT. You have here that today we had a drop, but it did start off really high. So what does that tell us? That overnight there was probably more interest in buying American bonds, and during the day there's more interest in selling them. So again, this points to there being more turmoil and more fear overseas than there is here in the United States, which could also point to why we had an increase in bonds early in the day, but also an increase in equities during the day at the same time. While we did see basically a drop over the day and a rise over the day from equities, it was still probably one that, given its general level, was not necessarily warranted, because for a very long time bonds were at around 164. Given that they're at 161 right now, there isn't a huge difference in terms of price here, but in terms of yield there probably is a general difference, but still not in the quantities to where a huge amount of just free-flowing capital would be found in equities. There was a drop, but not, I don't know if it's sufficient to warrant this drop in terms of what would be found to the requisite increase in equities. So right now we do have a rising equities at the moment. If we take a look at the ES at the moment here, we do see that we have an after hours slight jump. So what we can do right now, I'm gonna take a look at stimulus here. Let's take a look at what's going on. And currently 2 hours ago, nothing. 3 hours ago, nothing. 5 hours ago, 6 hours ago, 3 hours ago, 8 hours ago, 6 hours ago, 7, 6. So nothing super recently has come out. There isn't necessarily something that would be impacting the market, so it could just be from a technical standpoint that we're seeing these changes at the moment, which is fine. We're probably at a point of resistance at the moment anyway, so it would have to substantially go over this point for us to continue to see an increase in prices in equities. So it may have just wanted to touch this to see where it would go, but we'll see where it goes. We did have an overall increase in volume today. We have had a crossover from basically turning from negative momentum, from positive to negative momentum. We do have this positive buy signal here. Whether or not it can continue into tomorrow will remain to be seen. A lot of the factors that would basically add to a declining equities market are still around. Nothing necessarily has been fixed, and an opportunity for more stimulus or whatnot, hasn't substantially increased. If anything, it has decreased. And why I say that is because earlier today Trump did go ahead and make a pronouncement that he was willing to increase his bid in terms of what he would be willing to accept in order to sign for a stimulus. But Mitch McConnell went and almost immediately, within minutes, put out his own statement saying that he is only willing to put forth a $500 billion stimulus package that he has, even though stimulus to what exactly is it doesn't seem to be anywhere near requisite for any sort of stimulus at the moment, compared to anything that both the White House and Pelosi have been negotiating nonstop for the last at least 2 months. So yeah, there doesn't seem to be much promise in terms of stimulus. If anything, it has decreased substantially. But here we are, with the stock market rising at the beginning of today. Apart from that, I think that's just about everything. Let's go to the NASDAQ real quick to see if there's something here that we missed. Let's go to the NASDAQ. Thank you. Alright, we're gonna take a look at just real fast from the monthly. We're still excessively high. We haven't even come off of the overbought metric. The weekly, we have come off of the overbought and are risking going back into it again. And this candle for the weekly is not looking very good. Yet again, it didn't look very good here either. It didn't look very good there either. And yet, this is where we are. It's been pretty crazy. In any case, let's keep going here. We do have a cross back over. It's been very tight. We may see a cross back over again, or not, depending on how this bar ends up going for tomorrow, because tomorrow's the last day we have of this week. We also have, let's look at the daily here. On the daily chart, we do have positive momentum still. We have not yet crossed back over, so we're still in technically a positive trend here. For tomorrow, let's go to the 4 hour here. On the 4 hour, we have crossed back over. We do have negative momentum, but we have not slipped into negative momentum. We're still in somewhat positive momentum here, so any downward movement can be somewhat muted, and is only necessary to go sideways for it to be any downward movement in momentum in terms of its reading. We are not in overbought territory anymore, which means we can see this move higher if that's what happens. Here we do have a buy, a crossing over, a switching over of momentum in terms of its trajectory. So this could be what lets the NASDAQ move higher here, considering that it's not very far down into negative momentum territory. Yeah, this could be all she wrote from only taking a look at the 2 hour time frame. But there's still a lot that can happen. Tomorrow we do have, I think, more of the high frequency trading data, including, I think, credit card, whether or not there's any increase in CPI, whether or not there is deteriorating jobs numbers, even though today there was, I believe, a report of still deteriorating numbers today. So I'm not sure why the market sees that as any sort of positive sign, far from Trump just saying that he's willing to come up closer to meet Democrats in the House when the Senate is nowhere even near close to agreeing with anything that either of them have to say. Maybe he should be working specifically only on trying to convince Mitch McConnell. But, you know, here we are. And that I believe is everything. So, hope you guys had a good day. Yeah, until next time, please do stay safe, stay healthy, and yeah, until next time, take care. Bye. Oh yeah, if I made you smile, please do like and subscribe. Alright, take care. Bye.